जय श्री राधे। सब वैष्णवों को सदैन्य सप्रेम सादर जय श्री कृष्णा. Story of the 252 Vaishnav disciples of Sri Gosaiji, continuing today with Varta 133. The king instructed him, "You do not now need to collect any tax from them. Do not send anyone to their home." The officer agreed to excuse them from any tax, and then he went home. The next morning the king went to the well. He got his workmen to pull the goddess out, and he brought her home. He called one Brahmin priest in to worship her. The king went next to see the two Patel brothers and spoke to them. "You put the goddess in that well, and she came to me to devour me. Therefore from today onwards I shall never ask you again for tax. Please do not give the goddess any more grief." They replied, "O king, we have no enmity with the goddess. We don't give grief to anyone. We did what we did because we did not have the money on us." The king placed 400 rupees before them and asked them to accept it, saying, "You are great Vaishnavas, even the goddess could not punish you, so how can I? I demanded the tax from you, so please do forgive me for this." The Patels replied, "We do not accept money from anyone at all. We are farmers and manage our expenses through that occupation. Please give this money to a Brahmin as a gift, or use it for the goddess's temple." The king was full of praise for the two Patel brothers and then returned home. He had the temple for the goddess built by the lake and established her therein. All the village worshipped her. The two brothers never even stepped inside that temple, nor even went to look at it. After this, their Sri Thakurji, began to grant them his direct experience. One Vaishnava who had heard the whole story came and recounted it to Sri Gosaiji. When he heard it, Sri Gosaiji was very, very pleased with the Patel brothers. In this story, the true form of Vaishnavas is revealed. Vaishnavas are superior. Demigods and goddesses are all afraid of them and will do what they are told to by them. Therefore, a Vaishnava should never take shelter in any other than their beloved Sri Thakurji. They should use their wealth to serve the Lord and for no other purpose, because they know that whatever they have is the Lord's grace alone. It all belongs to him and must only be spent in his seva. If a Vaishnava uses their wealth for any other demigod or goddess, then they will soon become turned away from him, and their behavior will become contrary to their beloved Lord. Thus concludes Varta 133, the story of those two Patel brothers who are accomplished Vaishnavas of staunch resolve, and whom even Sri Gosaiji praised personally. There is no end to their tale. Continuing on with Varta 134, the story of one renunciate Vaishnava who lived in Gokul. Bhav Prakash. This is a devotee of Sattvic disposition. In the eternal Leela, his name is Virahatmaka, who manifests from Vraja Mangala and is thus a form of her divine loving sentiment. Part 1. The renunciate Vaishnava was a disciple of Sri Gosaiji. He begged for grains and survived in this way. He served the Lord most lovingly in his heart and mind. He read the works of Sri Acharyaji and Sri Gosaiji extensively and was most interestedly absorbed in the path of grace. There was one lady disciple of Sri Gosaiji, a Kshatrani. She was very wealthy. The renunciate Vaishnava developed affection towards her, and they used to sit to read divine discourses together and to remember their beloved Lord. Then they would partake of Mahaprasad. The renunciate Vaishnava never begged for grains from her. Their relationship was not worldly. He did believe, though, that if he was ever in need of money, then she would not refuse him, that she would provide. This constituted anyashri, relying on anyone other than the Lord himself, and for this very reason Sri Thakurji did not grant his direct experience to that Vaishnava. Sri Gosaiji considered, when a Vaishnava has even a tiny particle of anyashri, then they will not be able to attain the Lord. Therefore I should get rid of this for him. When the renunciate came to see Sri Gosaiji the next time, then Sri Gosaiji told him, "You should give up your affection for that Kshatrani." The renunciate Vaishnava replied, "O Maharaj, my affection for that Kshatrani is like my very life force. I can't give it up. I cannot lie to you. We do not have a worldly relationship. You are the inner witness of the heart and know everything." Sri Gosaiji did not reply immediately, but then after about 10 or 15 days later, he addressed the Vaishnava, "I need 5,000 rupees. I shall be getting the amount in 20 days, and then I shall pay you straight back. If you know anyone who could lend me money, please let me know." The renunciate Vaishnava replied, "O Maharaj, I can easily get you that much money." He went to the Kshatrani and said, "Today I must ask you for something. Please do not be annoyed." The Kshatrani replied, "I am yours. My house is yours. House. Say what it is that you need, and I shall give it to you." The Vaishnav said, Sri Gosaiji has asked me for 5,000 rupees. He will be getting some donations sent within 20 days, and then I shall be able to pay you back. Please lend the amount to me. The Kshatrani replied, take as much as you need, but you yourself must bring it back to me. I am initiated by Sri Gosaiji, and I do not want to have to ask him for it back. The renunciate Vaishnava said, don't worry, Sri Gosaiji has said that the money will come, and then I shall return your amount. Hearing this, the Kshatrani got out 5 purses containing 1,000 rupees each and gave them to him. The renunciate Vaishnava went so happily to Sri Gosaiji, giving it to him. In his mind he was thinking, today she has provided well for my needs. If she had not given this money, then from where should I have been able to give it to Sri Gosaiji? She is very kind and generous. He went to Sri Gosaiji, bowed to him and placed the purse before him. Sri Gosaiji praised the Vaishnava. Oh, Vaishnava, it is so good of you to have brought this money to me. It is for a necessary cause. The Vaishnava replied, Oh Maharaj, I brought it from the Kshatrani. Sri Gosaiji remarked, true love should be exactly like this. When you ask for something, you receive it. Sri Gosaiji then presented the Vaishnava with 1 prashadi pan bida and sent him off. Sri Gosaiji then locked the 5 1,000 rupee purses in a wooden box and had it buried in the ground. The Vaishnava took the pan bida to the Kshatrani and gave it to her. He was feeling very happy. Sri Gosaiji said nothing. He also never brought up the matter of paying the money back. 2 months had passed in this way. The Kshatrani then approached the renunciate Vaishnava. It has been 2 whole months since I lent you the money, and you have not brought it back. He replied, since I gave Sri Gosaiji the money, he has not even spoken to me. He has not mentioned the money. What should I do now? Kshatrani said, well, you should at least ask Sri Gosaiji. The Vaishnava went and sat before Sri Gosaiji, who was too hesitant to speak. He did this on 2 consecutive days, and then the Kshatrani piped up. Nothing will happen if you hesitate this much. You must definitely go and ask Sri Gosaiji. The Vaishnava came to him and said, Oh Maharaj, I borrowed those 5,000 rupees from that Kshatrani. She wants them back now. Sri Gosaiji said, Oh Vaishnava, where should I get those 5,000 rupees from now? I will travel around the country for 4 or 5 years, then I shall manage to collect that much by saving a little after expenses. If there is so much love between you and the Kshatrani, then why is she now asking for the money back? Hearing Sri Gosaji's words, the Vaishnava felt ashamed. He thought, I have done something very wrong here, in that I took the money from that Kshatrani. Now whatever can I say to her? Pondering on the matter, he went to see the Kshatrani. She said, did you ask Sri Gosaiji about the money? He replied, yes, I did. He said that he would have to spend a couple of years travelling to other places in order to return a few thousand rupees, and that if there is anything left over after expenses, then I will not be able to have it back. He does not have the money right now. The Kshatrani spoke. I told you before that I want my money back. Go to Sri Gosaiji immediately. He can borrow some money from somewhere and pay me back. Who knows when he might travel and when he might come back. If you bring the money back, then you and I can remain friends, otherwise not. The renunciate Vaishnava asked, what if I can't get the money back right now? Hearing this, the Kshatrani called over 2 of her men servants and told them to stand behind the Vaishnava. She said, I have placed these 2 men behind you. If you don't deliver the money, they will take you to Mathura and have you thrown in jail. Go and get it right now. The Vaishnava went to Sri Gosaiji. The 2 guards followed him. Sri Gosaiji had his Mahaprasad and was seated comfortably in his bertak. The Vaishnava arrived and bowed low to him. Sri Gosaiji laughed and said, Oh, Vaishnava, why have you come here? Who are these 2 men and who are with you? The renunciate Vaishnava replied, Oh Maharaj, the Kshatrani has sent these 2 men to follow me. She said that if I do not return her money now, then she will tell them to take me to Mathura and have me thrown in jail. Oh Maharaj, I am in a very difficult situation. Sri Gosaiji spoke. I told you before that you should give up your affection for that Kshatrani. You did not listen to me. The Vaishnava admitted, Yes, O Maharaj, I am suffering like this because I did not do as you said. Sri Gosaiji said, Oh Vaishnava, if I borrow you the money and give you the 5,000 rupees to give to her, then will you still be attached to her or not? The Vaishnava replied, I shall not even go near her door, if ever I can get out of her clutches. Sri Gosaiji had the wooden box containing the money brought to him and said, Oh Vaishnava, just see, these are your 5,000 rupees you lent me. They have not even been touched. What would I need your and that Kshatrani's money for? I only devised this plan in order to release you from your ignorance and attachment to anyone other than the Lord himself. Take the money. The Vaishnava went back to the Kshatrani and told her, Please take your money back. From today I do not even want to see your face. The Kshatrani implored him in many ways, but he did not listen to a single word of it. He went home immediately. He then went again to Sri Gosaiji, bowed down to him and said, "O Maharaj, I was guilty of taking shelter in someone other than the Lord. I was stupid and would never have been able to rectify this. You have graced me by getting me out of that state." Sri Gosaiji replied, "This was an obstruction to your devotion, and so it is now gone. From now on you should happily serve the Lord." The Vaishnava began to constantly contemplate the Lord in his heart and mind. Bhav Prakash. The moral of this story is that Vaishnavas should always avoid taking shelter in or depending on anyone other than the Lord. What exactly is Anyashre? It arises when a devotee has desire in his mind and heart for anyone or anything other than the Lord. A devotee should desire only the beloved Lord himself. This story also tells us the nature of affection. The only one worthy of our affection is Sri Nandanandan. Affection for anyone else is rife with worldly need for self-gratification. In this mood, Sri Hari Raji has composed one poem. Pada. Poet Sri Hari Raji. The only true love is for Sri Krishna, the son of Nanda. All other companions are never there in your times of trouble and are with you for their own selfish gratification. You cannot rely on other people. One minute they play with you and the next they are gone. Their hearts and their speech change all the time, and their thoughts are equally unstable. Even your mother, father, sister, children, and spouse do not offer you continuous affection. The poet Sri Hari Raji now sings, "The Lord, who is the beloved appreciator of divine loving mood, is your one true protector, so you must yourself sustain your constant flow of loving devotion to him alone." This shows us that Sri Gosaiji is that form of the Supreme Lord who is the only true beloved. He broke this Vaishnava's mistaken refuge and reliance on another. You should have solid love for him alone. Thus concludes Varta 134, the story of the renunciate Vaishnava from Gokul, on whom Sri Gosaiji showered his grace. Thus he became an accomplished Vaishnava. There is no true end to his tale. Concluding our Varta reading for today here. Aaj ke Anand ki jai ho. Sab Vaishnavon ko Jai Shri Krishna. Jai Jai Shri Radhe.